everybody, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about some books that I'm going to be reading in the last week / week and a half of February because I have some catching up to do. I kind of mood read a little bit, which caused some issues, and now I'm very behind on reading. And this is missing 2 books that I also need to read upstairs, but that's separate. This is specifically book clubs that I recently joined that I need to read for. Luckily, there is one I have already read on here and one I'm almost finished, so thank God. We'll talk about that first. Recently, I decided I really wanted to support the creators on YouTube that I watch very often, so I've joined a bunch of their Patreons, and it's really fun. Like, I'm actually surprised how much fun I'm having with it. I wasn't sure like how this was gonna go, but I've enjoyed this immensely, and I've also been loving the book picks for the book clubs because I am reading some stuff out of my comfort zone, and it has majorly surprised me, which is really awesome. And I actually had most of these books already on hand, which was even better because that was possibly an issue. There's also one missing from this pile that I hopefully am getting today or soon. I'm not sure like how long it's going to take for me to get it, but I'm a little nervous it's not going to come in time before the live show. But I figured we'd talk about the books very quickly, and then we can get into the actual reading. And well, first we'll talk about the book that I finished and the book that I'm currently reading, but let's talk about the Patreons. First up, we have Sid BookWorrom. I absolutely love her channel. She's so much fun, and she's got this like really chill vibe to her, and I'm really liking the book picks because they're also slightly out of my comfort zone. Like, one was in my comfort zone and one is out, so I think it's gonna be really fun. And so the 2 books that she is doing this month are Wilde's Encyclopedia of Faeries and Sea of Tranquility. So this one I've actually already read, so I will put this to the side and we can talk about it. This one is one of my nervous reads. This is the buddy read, so she's doing like a full vlog on it. So I would like to finish this before she puts out that full vlog. Although I'm not as pressed on time on this one because if it's not like a live premiere thing, it's gonna come out and you can watch it whenever. So this one probably will be last because it's not a live show, but I really do want to read this within February or the first week of March. I don't know how long this vlog is gonna be since there are quite a few books to get through. Next, we have a creator that I watch all the time, and it is Colson's pick, and that is Alone with You in the Ether. And this is the one I am currently reading, and I'm halfway through, and I'm going to save my remarks for when I talk about this after I talk about Wilde's Encyclopedia fairy thing. Next, we have Mel Reads. And their pick was Legends and Lattes. This is the book that I am actually missing. I ordered it from Book Depository because I like the UK cover, not the US edition. So I'm waiting for the UK cover to come, and then I will start reading that when that shows up. I'm really hoping it's coming today, but it did dispatch on the 14th, so it could still be quite a while before I get it. So kind of got my fingers crossed that that one comes relatively soon. Next, we have Jordaline Reads, and they read like horror and all sorts of stuff actually, but I really like the fact that this seemed to be horror-centric book club kind of things going on. And of course, their pick was How to Sell a Haunted House, and obviously I've had this book for a while. I really want to read it, so yeah, that was an obvious pick. Like, I want to read this. This is probably what I'll be picking up next after Alone with You in the Ether. And then the last one that we'll be reading, and I don't know if I'll finish this in this vlog. This may go into March. Like, I may read like half of it or a couple like chapters and then do a March one with all the book club picks in March. But because this is a February and March pick for Becca and the Books, who probably is my favorite right now. I really love her channel, but they have picked Blood and Mercy, and they have like it's fantasy romance, so I'm very nervous about this, but this book is chunky and it's beautiful, and I'm so excited to start this one. But I am going to wait to start it because I have the most time to read this one. Therefore, I really need to wait until I finish the other ones before I pick this one up, because I have quite a while to be able to pick this one up. But I think that most of these are going to be really good. Based on what I've read already and based on kind of like how I know my own tastes, this is kind of what I would guess is what I'm going to like. This one I would never have guessed I would have liked. I would have put this one at the bottom actually, but I'm currently reading it and obsessed with it. So I'm going to put it at the top. And then I have read Wilde's and I really love that. I think the Grady Hendrix will be next. And then between the Grady Hendrix and Blood Mercy is where I would put Legends and Lattes. Then Blood Mercy, then Sea of Tranquility, just because Sea of Tranquility is not really my thing. And I have a suspicion that this could be a DNF depending on writing style and how far into the pandemic-esque stuff it kind of goes, because it does have to do with pandemic. And I notoriously do not enjoy books relating to the pandemic, so we're gonna have to see how that goes. But so far, I'm like really enjoying myself. Honestly, I will probably finish Alone with You in the Ether today because I am enjoying it so much and I cannot put it down. And I'm currently in reading sprints with Sid BookWorrom. She's doing all-day reading sprints, I think. So I'll probably be able to finish this, and then I will most likely start How to Sell a Haunted House, which I'm really, really excited about because I'm kind of in a horror mood after finishing Don't Fear the Reaper. Even though I didn't like it, I still was super entertained by the fact that it was a horror. I'm just in a horror mood. So very quickly, the one that I already finished, I actually gave it a soft 5. I really, really enjoyed this. It was a surprise because I did not enjoy the beginning of it. It is written as like a journal kind of situation. So it's kind of written as if this author doesn't exist and it's Emily Wilde writing it, which is actually really neat. It's written in journal sections, journal entries. But it's so analytical at the beginning. Like, she's so analytical, has major social anxiety. So it was so intellectually minded that it bogged down a lot of what was going on. But the farther into the book you got, the more it made sense, because then you had her opposite who came, like the romantic interest, and he is whimsical and silly and just over the top. So they balanced each other so well. And when she writes about him, it is so funny because it's like analytical minded, but at the same time she has to say like these ridiculous things that he's doing. So it's so cute. It's so much fun. If you love anything that has to do with Fae, this is such an interesting take on it because she's literally cataloging Fae, and it is fantastic. So I really enjoyed this. It is a soft 5 because it did take me about 100 pages to really get into it, but I really love the ending and I cannot wait for the next one to come out. Pretty much all I have to say about this one. This isn't like a deep, really all-encompassing type of book. This is just a quick, cute read that you don't really need to think much about. This one, on the other hand, oh my gosh. This book has me screaming, has me crying, has me writing down a quote every other page because it's just like, it's breaking my brain. It honestly is breaking my brain and making me question everything about my reading. Like, oh my God, I don't know what I like anymore. I don't know what life is anymore. I am obsessed with this. Of course, I'm not done. So like, stuff could happen, but I can't imagine that much bad stuff happening that I'll hate it. Like, even if the characters don't end up together, because this is one of those situations where it says a love story, not romance. A love story can mean they don't end up together at the end. If they don't end up together at the end, I still think it's gonna be a 5-star because it's just that well written and that like there's like, oh my gosh, it's just this like obsession with each other, but it's not like obsession, it's understanding each other where no one else understands them. So we have 2 main characters, and Reagan has, I think she has bipolar disorder, and Aldo has some sort of OCD, social anxiety, very into his own thoughts, and does not understand social cues, etc. So they are very, very, very different, but they balance each other so well. And they have this like way of talking about each other in their brains that just like, I literally can't handle this. I feel like I don't know. I feel like a lot of people said they didn't like this because the writing is pretentious, but I cannot get enough of it. I cannot get enough of it. And I don't really read the pretentiousness of it, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I just really, really like this writing. To me, it's blunt, in your face. It is telling you how everything is. And that's what I love about this, because I don't do well with books that meander and kind of don't tell you exactly what's going on. This, you know exactly what's going on. You are getting the background of their feelings, everything they're feeling in that moment, raw everything. And I'm adoring this book. So I'm going to continue reading this one. And it's kind of like slice of life. I'm trying to think of what it's really about, but it's not really about anything other than these two just existing together. That's pretty much it. It's these two people, their worlds colliding, and them trying to live this life that is so different from each other, but bringing them into each other's lives. So it's really hard to explain, but it's just basically two people existing in a space together, and it is wonderful and I love it, and I'm gonna go read it and probably finish it today. So that is my quick update. I'm hoping this goes well. I'm really excited about most of these. So Sea of Tranquility is the only one that I'm like, don't know about, and I did get the audiobook for that, so that should hopefully help me out. So yeah, I'm gonna go read and I will update you when I'm finished and ready to start something new. Okay, I'm looking a bit of a mess today. I'm having a rough day. Having a rough day, but I did finish Alone with You in the Ether last night. And this is 5-star. 5 freaking star. This is the best book I've read this year. This is probably one of the best books I read last year. I love this book. I love this book. I was a little concerned at one point, but it just brought it back. It brought it back, and I tabbed a couple of like my favorite quotes in here, and it just sobbing, crying, throwing up, new favorite. I pretty much already told you what it's about. There's no like surprises or anything in this book. It's literally just existing with these characters, and it's told in, there's no chapters, but it's told in parts. Yeah, so this is like kind of how it's told. So there's 6 parts with a hypothesis at the beginning, because it's very science forward. Like one of our main characters, Aldo, is a mathematician, and he's very analytical, and so that's fun. And then I did read the acknowledgments as well, because I thought they were really important, and I had no idea that they would actually wrap up the book really nicely. So if you're reading this, highly suggest reading the acknowledgments, because I was a little concerned because I don't know that much about mood disorders. I just don't. I don't have any friends who have them. I have some friends who have depression, but nothing like bipolar or schizophrenia. So, and the character here has bipolar disorder. And so I, again, don't know that much about it other than what books talk about and TV series. And you know that those types of shows and books normally over-exaggerate stuff that's happening. Hair was bothering me, sorry. I am not an expert on this, so I can't really comment on this, but I was concerned because they got to a point in the book where she goes off her medication, like I said, and the only thing I've heard about that is when schizophrenic people and bipolar people go off their medication, they get manic, and do terrible things. That's how books talk about it. I'm so glad I read this, because it's not the case for everybody, and I had no idea. I didn't know that there were other ways to like manage yourself, and at first I was a little worried because I thought it was a person just like writing about it and writing how they felt about it. But Olivia Blake is bipolar. I had no idea. So I read the acknowledgments, and I'm so glad I read it, because she actually talks about how she was on medication for a long time and she had a hard time functioning on it and off of it. And so she didn't know what to do. And then she met her husband. Her husband helped her work through a lot of her problems. She started writing, and she actually went off her medication. So she's writing this book based off of her own experience, which is so fascinating. And I feel like this is such an important book for a lot of people to read, because I feel like Hollywood and media has instilled this fear in people who don't know anything about mood disorders of people with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. The immediate thought when someone says, oh, well, I went off my medication, is, oh my God, they're gonna light something on fire, they're going to kill somebody, they're going to ruin their lives, they're gonna do terrible things. That is how media has portrayed this whole being off medication thing. And she talks about it. She's like, it took me years to adjust, but she hasn't been manic in years, and her therapist and her husband are very like close watching her to make sure she doesn't go manic, and she has like contingencies in place just in case things happen, but she channels her energy and her focus into writing, and it seems to have helped her enormously. And so she actually kind of made the main character, Reagan, kind of based after her, because she's the artistic type. So she tries to channel her energy into art. So it's fascinating. And I didn't know any of that. I didn't know any of that going in. I didn't know it was possible to moderate your moods if you're bipolar. Had no idea. Wish that was like talked about more in books and Hollywood and media, because it's not. It's pretty much, if you're bipolar, you have to be on medication or you're crazy. That's all I've seen. So I am so happy I read this, not only because I love the characters, I loved the writing. Oh my gosh, I love the writing. And because I learned something. I always love learning something from books when I read them. If I learn something, I'm normally pretty happy. And I definitely feel like I gained a deeper understanding of mood disorders as a whole. And I'm very happy about that because I feel like I had my own prejudices from media because I consume a lot of TV, I consume a lot of books. So I definitely feel like my vision has been skewed because I've never seen somebody in real life dealing with this. So I'm incredibly happy that I read that, not only because it was a fantastic book, like separately, but because I also learned that. So this was just so good. This was so good. I definitely think people who don't love pretentious books probably shouldn't read this. I didn't think it was that pretentious, but I can see people not liking this. If you need more action in a book, I would not read this because this is literally just slice of life dealing with issues that you have as a person just existing. So it was just beautiful to me. It was absolutely beautiful to me. And there's definitely some like quotes in here that I literally can't. Like, I literally can't. I love it. I've been talking a little too long about it. I'm trying to keep this short because I have so many books, but I adore this book. Highly recommend it to most people. It's wonderful. I really did absolutely love this book. Another bit of exciting news, though, is I really thought I was going to be reading How to Sell a Haunted House next, but I am not in the mood for that after reading Alone with You in the Ether. I need something as a palate cleanser. I'm just like on edge after reading that book because it changed my view on so many things in my life in general. And now I'm like questioning what I've been reading. Like, have I been reading the wrong stuff this whole time? Like, I'm so confused. I'm so confused with myself. So I need a palate cleanser. And luckily what came in the mail last night, because our mail came really late last night, Legends and Lattes finally showed up. This is the UK edition. I really don't like the US edition, which is weird because I feel like most people love the US edition, but I was not a fan of the US edition. I do like that the art is in here though. Like, I like it as artwork, not the cover, and I just really, really like this cover. So I think I'm gonna start this one because this one seems quick. It is cozy fantasy. I feel like, again, going to be a great palate cleanser for the mess that I feel in every part of me after reading Alone with You in the Ether. That book wrecked me. Like, seriously wrecked me. But all I know about this and why I want to read it is sapphic, and it is a D&D-esque kind of style. I used to play D&D a lot, so I was really excited about that. And our main character, Viv, is an orc barbarian who is hanging up her sword for good, setting up a coffee shop, but no one knows what coffee is. She has to deal with old rivals and new ones that stand in her way. So I think it sounds really cute. Everyone who I've seen read this loves it. So I feel like this will be a really good palate cleanser. I'm probably going to start this soon. I've been putting it off because I've felt kind of crap this morning. My back's really, really hurting, which sucks because it's been pretty good for about a week, but now it's feeling bad because I haven't gotten a lot of sleep. And then pelvic pain that has flared up again, so that's fun. So I'm just like in pain, uncomfortable. So all I've been doing this morning was playing some video games and watching 1,000 Pound Sisters on Discovery Plus. Because that is the only thing I can focus on. So, because for me, if I'm in a lot of pain, I can't read. I don't read when I'm uncomfortable. I don't focus. So we're going to see if I can get some of this read, but we'll see. We'll see. I am getting ready to film new releases of March, which are new book releases are my favorite videos to film. They're just so much fun and they remind me like what's coming out and give you guys an update of what I'm reading. And I kind of swerved a little bit on you guys, and I am not reading Legends and Lattes. I read about 16 pages of it and it was just not the vibe that I was looking for. And I swerved and picked up Sea of Tranquility because Sid BookWorrom just released her buddy read video about that. So I was like, I might as well try this one. I don't know I don't know. I'm about 64 pages in, and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. This is definitely not something I normally would read. This is definitely something I would probably have DNF'd, but I'm giving it a shot because there are some interesting things in it. So the Sea of Tranquility, if you don't know, is sci-fi. It's weird sci-fi, and it is going to have to do with the pandemic, but it's like also has to do with time travel. Sorry, my camera is being wild. Like, I can see, like, the contrast and stuff going super weird, and I don't know what it's doing. But we're following, like, a different character in every section. Like, I think there's, like, 6 sections. There's 7 sections, but I think some of them revisit some characters. But each section is a different time period, and the first section was from, like, 1912, and I really did not enjoy that opening timeline. I was so bored reading that, and I was so concerned that the whole book was going to be like that. But then the second section that I read took place in, I think, 2020 or 2019. Took place in 2019. 2020. It's right before the pandemic hit is when the second section took place. And we have this, like, weird thing going on where there's this like time traveler guy, obviously, who's showing up in every timeline and asking questions and gathering data because he says something about COVID-19 and no one knows what he's talking about, and he's like, oh, it's only January. So he's obviously from the future, but there's also some weird stuff where he's like, one of our characters recognizes him or something. So there's just some weird stuff happening, and there's enough weird stuff happening that I am intrigued enough to continue reading it. I don't love the writing style. I don't love the vibes of it, but I'm gonna keep reading it because it's very quick. It is incredibly quick to read. It's only like, I feel like the pages are like the lines are super spaced out, and then there's a lot of blank pages, and it's only like 240 pages. So I think the audiobook is like 5 hours or 5.5 hours. And I think I only have like 3 left because I did also try the audiobook. I'm probably not going to listen to the audiobook anymore because I think that also did not help my reading experience in the first section. But I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to keep trying it. Again, don't know how I'm feeling about it, but we'll see. Okay, it is Friday morning. I spent the rest of yesterday finishing The Sea of Tranquility, which is really exciting. I wasn't too far behind Sid posting her book vlog thing for it, so that was really good. I'm probably gonna watch it a second time. I watched it the first time really fast before her reading sprints last night because I wanted to see like her general opinion on it. I know she liked it, that's all I knew. I just didn't know like her rating and like the extent to which she liked it. And it was definitely more for her, less for me, this type of book. But I still had a fun reading experience with it, and it was super quick read, like super quick read. So I ended up giving it a 3.5 star because I don't like time travel. I just don't. So this was never going to be like really good for me. Definitely did find myself bored a lot throughout the book. Like I found myself skimming sections, and I feel like the sections I skimmed, I didn't miss anything. Book makes sense like after you finish it. After you finish it, you're like, oh, it's like one of those books. The twist was really good. There's definitely a big twist in this. And it was so well done, the ending. So when you're going, like, thinking back on it, you can, like, actually organize things. And there actually is a main character in this book. So I thought that was funny because it's, like, it's many different characters, but there actually does turn out to be one major character. And that person, their main chapter, which is the middle of the book, that bored me. It bored me so much. And which is sad because I feel like that was supposed to be the point, like, his chapters or his point of view is like the main point, and I just found his main chapter really boring, and I found myself skimming that one. But the rest of them are really good. My favorite is the book tour. The lady on her book tour, absolutely my favorite character, my favorite like parts to read. And then the ending was really good. The ending saved it because I was kind of like a 2.5 because I was just so bored. I liked the idea behind everything, but it wasn't a book that I particularly enjoy. So it was kind of like a 2.5, and then the ending happened, and I was like, okay. So it went up a full star, so about a 3.5. And I might read another book by this person. I don't know. I'm really torn. I have Station 11 upstairs, but the one I actually want to read is The Glass House because that is related to this one. So they said if you want like a full reading experience with this one, you should have read The Glass House first. And that was kind of my plan, but I have 2 of her books already, so I was like, I don't really want to get another one and then figure this out. I'd rather read one that I already have. Yeah, 3.5, the least successful so far. But still successful, I would say. Like, I'm really glad I read it, and this is one of my favorite covers. It is so pretty, and I get the cover now. I was always wondering why it looked like that. I now get it. So I was planning on, because I finished this at like 6, 7 o'clock yesterday, so I was planning on picking something else up, but I just like, I don't want to. So now I'm like, oh crap, am I in a reading slump or just like, I don't know, because February has actually been a pretty good reading month, minus a little bit in the middle where I DNF'd a couple books. But I think I'm like overwhelmed by what I have to read, and I just realized it's February, so I only have like 3 more days to read 4 books, because I need to read The Writing Retreat, Georgie All Along, How to Sell a Haunted House, and Legends and Lattes. I don't know what I'm picking up next. I might try and like force myself through Legends and Lattes just because I didn't really like the first 16 pages. I felt like there's like a disconnect between me and the story. So I'm hoping that gets better, and that's why I didn't like rush through it, because the rest of these I've like felt an immediate connection with, except for Encyclopedia of Faeries, which took me a while, but I read it before I started the vlog. But I'm not feeling that with Legends and Lattes, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to pick up. It's either that or How to Sell a Haunted House. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. But I do know what I'm doing the rest of today. I have to go to the grocery store, and I am having a rough mental week. Because of my, like, physical issues right now. I don't really want to talk about them because they're very uncomfortable to talk about. Because of my physical issues right now, I'm just very uncomfortable all the time. Like, it's causing me issues with sleep, etc. And I have work tomorrow, which normally it's better. Normally it's standing up when I'm moving. The problem is actually getting myself up, because I'll find like a semi-okay, like comfortable position in bed, and then I don't want to move again. So yeah, it's a fight to get up to shower. It's a fight to get up and do anything when I find semi-comfortable positions. So that's super fun. So I've been having issues with that, which is also not helping my reading. So I have to go to the grocery store today, and to reward myself for actually going and getting up and functioning today, instead of just wallowing at home, I'm gonna go to the bookstore. I'm probably not gonna buy anything. There's nothing out that I really want to buy, but it just gives me good vibes when I go to the bookstore and just kind of meander around for a bit. If I'm lucky, I'm going to the Barnes & Noble that always has early releases out. So if I'm lucky, I could find the second book, Anatomy of Love Story. But I think it's kind of a bigger release this year. Unlike when the first book was released last year, it was kind of like it was a quiet release. I feel like this year it's a bit of a bigger release, so they might have it on a hard hold. But I don't know. We're going to go check that out, though. I'm going to go function. I hate it. I hate functioning right now. So, and I have work this weekend. I said that already, but I have work this weekend. I'm not going to get anything done this weekend. Really needed to update you on Sea of Tranquility, and then it just went off the rails from there. But anyway, I am 3 books down. 3 to go? 2 to go? How many do I have left? Legends and Lattes, How to Sell a Haunted House. Yeah, 2 to go. So 3 down, 2 to go. Good job. Yeah, it is Monday morning, and I haven't read... Well, okay. I read something. I DNF'd something. It just wasn't for this video. Because I ended up getting Scribd and I got rid of my Audible subscription because I just don't listen to enough audiobooks. So half the time I have a million credits and then I don't use them, and I don't know what to do with myself. So I used all my credits and then got rid of my Audible subscription. Jeez, today's rough. And then I got Scribd instead, and Scribd has actually been great. And I didn't do it this weekend, I did it like last weekend, because I was able to listen to all of Don't Fear the Reaper on there, which was super nice because the hold on that was super long. So I listened to most of Don't Fear the Reaper, and then I also was able to get Small Game, which I started in December when I went on my cruise. And then I just forgot about it because the cruise, I didn't read anything on the cruise. I read that on the, like at the airport. I was like, okay, small game is super short. Let me listen to this at work. It's not like super, I don't need to think about it a lot. So I, yeah, I ended up DNFing it. Yeah, I'll talk about that more in my February wrap-up because I'm getting pretty close to February wrap-up. I was actually going to film that today, but I am determined. It is February 27th, so I still have today and tomorrow. I do work tomorrow, but I can probably get some reading in the morning. I am determined to either finish or at least... I'm determined to finish. We're going to say finish so that I am, like... setting goals for myself. I'm putting myself up there. I'm trying to, I can do it. I can do it. I am determined to finish Legends and Lattes today. Probably not gonna happen, but I'm gonna say it's happening. I'm just like all over the place right now because I worked this weekend, like I said, got nothing done except for DNFing small game. I showered this morning and, cause like when I get home, it's like 11, a little past, and I just like fall into bed and go to sleep. I'm so tired. So I showered this morning, feeling good, ate some cereal with some almond milk. I ended up getting some almond milk. I used to drink almond milk all the time when I was going through stomach problems, but it turned out I'm not lactose intolerant at all. So I ended up just getting real milk because my husband hates almond milk, so we would be buying almond milk and regular milk. So I was like, we're just gonna drink regular milk. But we haven't been drinking regular milk, so I got almond milk for me. And I've been having breakfast every morning, which is great. I'm really bad about doing breakfast. I feel like this is really boring, and you probably don't want to hear this, but oh well. This is instead of B-roll. I'm really bad at filming B-roll because I don't do anything during the day. It would just be clips of me watching TV. It would be clips of me watching TV while reading. So... don't really do B-roll. If I have like exciting things, I'll B-roll, but obviously I also can't like film at work. It's a hospital. I can't do that. Oh, that's what I'm doing. I'm watching Ultimatum. I love Ultimatum. I watched the US season. I love it. I'm watching the France edition, which is already like significantly less filled with drama, and the people actually seem like real people. It's so funny watching like a US version of something versus like a European version of something because they're always so different. They're so different in like different ways. Like this one, it seems like the couples are taking it much more seriously than the US edition so far, but I'm very, very early on. This could definitely change. But like the US edition was like bonkers. It was bonkers. So I'm curious how this one's gonna go, but so far it does seem a little more serious. Like they didn't freak out when they announced that they'd be switching partners like they did in the US. The US one they went, ah! This one they're just kind of like, oh, we don't like it, and that's pretty much it so far. So I'm enjoying that. I'll watch that in an off and on read. I don't speak French, so I do have to read subtitles. So that will probably take away from my reading, but yeah, this isn't looking good today, but I will update you at some point. Okay, I definitely forgot in my last update to talk about the most exciting thing that happened today. It is Monday the 27th. Yes. And the Book of the Month books just came out. And one of my accounts, because I have two accounts. I'm a BFF or whatever on both accounts because I've had them for so long and I order so many books from them. One of my accounts got picked for like the allowing now 5 books in a box instead of 3. Thank God, because I did end up getting 5. Because the choices were immaculate. And I get Book of the Month for the thriller and some contemporary fiction, tend not to, but mostly thrillers. Mostly thrillers, and I don't tend to get fantasy because I like my books matching, so I don't really trust it. And romance. I get romance and thrillers. I don't really get anything that's super intense, but this month, crazy. So they had 7 choices plus add-ons, and so Wayward was definitely one I wanted, and I thought this was horror. It says magical realism, which is a little sus for me because I don't love magical realism most of the time, but we're gonna try it because this one sounds really, really good. Then they also have The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi. I am not getting that one because I'm already getting it in a book box, so I'm not worried about that one. Thank goodness, because that would have been 6. I am getting the London Seance Society, which I wasn't going to get, but one of my book clubs picked it, so in next month's reading vlog for book club picks, if I do another one, that will be in there. I got Lone Women. I was so excited about this. This is horror, and they don't often do horror, so I was shocked to see this, but this sounds so good. It's the story about a woman who has like a briefcase, and if she opens it, people start disappearing. So I am so exciting. And it was in one of my March release books, so I'm really excited about that. They're also doing The Russian Doll, which is historical fiction. I did not get that. And then the contemporary fiction is Rootless, and I did not do that because I don't do stories about pregnancy. It has to do with unexpected pregnancy and marriage. I don't read stories about that kind of stuff because it freaks me out. So then the add-ons were... It's always sometimes hard to tell what the add-ons were. Hello Beautiful was an add-on. I wasn't interested in that one. Contemporary fiction. I just don't read that much contemporary fiction. Friends and Found Family to see the beauty in our layers. This is not something I normally gravitate towards. I think Pineapple Street was new this month. I don't know if that one was new. Again, not very interested in that one. It's another contemporary fiction. And then the one I did want to read and that I did put in my box, the last one I put in my box is I Have Some Questions for You by Rebecca Mackay. It says it's literary fiction, but it's borderline mystery. And I know it has to do with true crime podcast. So all I know about that, but those are the 5 picks that I got. And I am so freaking excited. Wayward, Lone Women, The Soulmate, London Sand Society, and I Have Some Questions for You. I'm really glad. I almost picked up I Have Some Questions for You, but I wasn't sure 100% if I would love it. So I'm really, really glad it's in Book of the Month because I can save a little money and still get the book because, man, these books are so expensive. I would love to get more adult books, but they're so expensive, which is why I love Book of the Month. And this is not a Book of the Month ad. I would love for this to be a Book of the Month ad, but no, it is not a Book of the Month ad. That was 6 minutes. I kept it pretty short. That was a pretty short update. But like I said, I gotta prep ribs. That's what I have to do now. I have to prep ribs, which I really don't want to do because I don't do it. My husband normally does it, but he's not home yet. So I have to do it and stick them in the oven. We'll see how well that goes. It is March 1st, morning of March 1st. And yeah, I didn't get anything done over the weekend. I didn't read Monday. I didn't read anything Tuesday. And now it is Wednesday morning. And I have actually read quite a bit. I've read about 100 pages more of Legends and Lattes. I'm over halfway through. I'm 150 pages in. 150 pages exactly. And I don't know if I ever showed the cover that I got. And I don't know. I just feel the same about it as I said before. I'm just kind of, it's fine. Like, I'm entertained and I keep picking it up, which is promising. Like, there's no chance of a DNF. And I like the characters. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. I'm like, I like more action in my stories. It's rare. See, I don't know, because I really like the Hotel Nantucket, and that's just like following people's lives. I guess there's a mystery in that, like a couple mysteries and drama stuff. I feel like this doesn't have much drama in it. I feel like the only drama is obviously, even though I don't know anything about this book, it's following Viv, our main character, who's an orc who's opening a coffee shop. And it seems like the only drama is really, there's basically a gang of people. Yeah, I feel like I've talked about this. People who are trying to extort money. And that's kind of the only conflict. And it's just like the constant thing going on. But there's nothing really happening with it. It's just there. Like, we're definitely 150 pages in and nothing has happened. They've just set up the coffee shop and are doing daily life and you're meeting people. And I feel like it's just not my kind of book. I don't know, because I could get to the end of the book and be like, I love this, which is what happened with Daisy Jones and the Six. I didn't love that book, and then the ending hit me like a freight train and I loved it. So it's possible Legends and Lattes could do the same thing. I just don't see why everyone is obsessed with it, I guess, at this point. So I'm a little disappointed. I definitely feel like the hype of the book has hurt my enjoyment a little bit, just because I expected so much from it. And it's just fine so far. It's an entertaining, fine book. So that's where I'm at. I definitely am going to finish it today. Like, easily finish it today. I am about to go. It is 8:45. I'm about to leave the house to go to Barnes & Noble because there was a ton of releases yesterday, but I worked yesterday, so I couldn't go to the store. So I am going out today. I'm very excited. I haven't gone book shopping in a month. Like, I've gotten stuff like I've gotten a book here or there from like Amazon, or like my special editions randomly will come in, and I have my book of the month books should be coming in a few days, but I haven't physically gone book shopping in a month. So this could be bad. This could be bad, but it did help save some money in February, which I was really excited about. So I'm going to try and control myself now, which I don't see it happening, but we'll see. I'm going to be good. I'll probably film some of that. I don't know if that will be in here, or I might make a separate like little come shop with me video. I'm not decided yet. I've never done one of those, and I don't like filming in public, so we'll see. No, I did not film while I was in the bookstore. As usual, the second I get into a store, I get super focus mode, because I know I'll get super, super anxious and get over like stimulated by everything going on, especially in a bookstore, because there's so many things happening. There's so many books. So I get overstimulated. So what I do when I go into a store, I put my headphones in and I like focus and like try to stay calm. So no, didn't do any filming. Nothing. Nada. Didn't even film the storefront. Didn't even happen. But I did buy some books. And I actually ordered one off of Amazon, which I am already regretting. I'm regretting so hard, but it's happening because my husband called me a wimp when I didn't buy it at Barnes & Noble. Because I texted him a picture of it and I was like, should I buy it? Should I buy it? And then he didn't respond, so I left and I didn't buy it. And he goes, get it. I'm going to get it on audiobook. And I was like, I didn't buy it. And he's like, wimp, you wimped out. And so I ended up buying it on Amazon, and it's coming tomorrow. And it's The Way of Kings by Brandy Sandy. If you don't know who I'm talking about, Brandon Sanderson. Hello, I am Kimberly. I don't read high fantasy. And The Way of Kings is high fantasy. So, the reasoning behind buying it is my husband and I are obsessed with this show on Dropout. So College Humor, Dropout, formerly College Humor, is a TV station. It's kind of like a Netflix, but we watch everything on it. It's so funny. If you've seen Game Changer on TikTok, they're the people who do Game Changer, but they have a show called Actually, and it's Jeopardy, but for nerds. So you have to answer so they say they have like a fact, but it's wrong. Something in the fact is wrong, and so the panelists have to buzz in and say, actually, and then correct what's wrong, and we're obsessed with it, and freaking Brandy Sandy is constantly in it, and it's like, so my husband and I both have FOMO about not knowing what's going on in the Brandon Sanderson world of the Stormlight Archives. So that's happening. But that's what I got off of Amazon, not what I got at Barnes & Noble. What I got from Barnes & Noble, first we'll go through like the stuff I wasn't really expecting to pick up, but I ended up picking up A Winter's Promise because I've been seeing this everywhere and it looks so beautiful, and they finally put it on like the buy one get one 50% off, and the other book I did go there for was on the 50% off, which I was like, holy crap. So I ended up getting this one and that one, and it's so cute, and there's something that just feels cozy about it. But I believe this is like a cozy fantasy. If it's not, I don't care, because it's still fantasy. It looks really, really good, and it's so cute. It's so cute. And then the next one I actually went there to get, and I feel kind of bad because it was an Aardvark. What is it? It's the new book of the month is Aardvark Book Club or something like that. And this was one of their choices, but I saw it that I was going to be at Barnes & Noble, and I was like, I'm going to go pick it up because it's on the 50% off. And I do prefer a paperback with these kinds of books. I like a floppy paperback every once in a while. So this seems like a cozy fantasy as well. So I like reading paperback cozy things better for some reason. But it is The Magician's Daughter. I got like 3 bookmarks too. She went wild with the bookmarks. But this looks so cool. And it's like about this woman who lives off the coast of Ireland, and she's basically being kept there by this magician Rowan, but he goes missing, and so she has to figure out what's going on and what's going on with magic and why it seems like it might be failing. So this sounds really, really good. Cozy fantasy. I keep picking up cozy fantasies, so I don't know. The next one was one that I definitely wanted to pick up, and I'm really nervous about it because the first book was really, really, really good, except the ending, and I'm really worried I'm worried. But this is Immortality, a love story. The first one was Anatomy, a love story. Yeah, I'm really excited because I think it's gonna do, I feel like the stuff that it didn't wrap up well at the end of the first book is going to finally get like a chance to wrap up and like expand upon. So I'm excited to pick this up. I probably will pick this up soon just because I do remember a lot that happened in the first book, so I need to read it rather than let it sit for a while. So I do think I'll pick this one up. I just don't know when exactly. And the last one that I was so excited, and I was waiting to unbox here because it's in wrap, and I got this when I saw it on her page and I'm so excited. But it is Last Violent Call, and it is it's lovely. The problem is haven't read the first book in the series, and this is definitely, she said, you need to read this after you've read these Violent Delights, that duology, and after you read the first book and the new one. I cannot remember what they're called. Foul Lady Fortune. You're supposed to read this between Foul Lady Fortune and the second book in the duology that hasn't come out yet. So now I'm basically going to be forced to read Foul Lady Fortune. And the only reason I haven't read it is because I'm just nervous. These Violent Delights, that duology is one of my favorite duologies like ever. So I'm really nervous that I have a lot riding on Foul Lady Fortune. My hopes are very high, which normally is not a good thing. But I figured we would open this one up because it's short stories. I thought it was like one volume. I think you can get one volume from like Waterstones and stuff, or even like a normal edition of it. But when I saw Chloe Gong unbox hers and show people like what it looked like, I was like, I need this. And it's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful. You can just keep them in like this. But these are the two stories. This is the back, and it shows the artwork, but oh, okay, let me do the other way. So I'm so excited. It's so cool. Now you know how I felt the first time I said I love you. I just love it. I love it. I love that they're like these tiny little books with like beautiful artwork on them. So excited. And then the second one, I just love it. I love it. Are we really going to do this? Are we going to risk it? I literally can't. I literally can't how much I love these. I love them. I love them so much. So I'm definitely going to be reading. I have to go. I need to leave. I need to leave. I'm going to go hopefully finish Legends and Lattes while watching the last 2 episodes of Perfect Match because I did not get to finish them yesterday. I started them at work. So I do need to watch this today. I'm really excited to see the finale and see what happens because I'm stressed. That show stresses me out. So anyway, that was my little update. It was a little bit long, but I thought you would enjoy seeing what books that I bought at Barnes & Noble, even though I didn't have any B-roll from Barnes & Noble because I'm really bad at this. I'm really bad at vlogging. So yeah, that's it. I'm in the middle of filming my February wrap-up, so I gotta finish that. And then I'm also waiting for my unplugged book box for February to get here so I can unbox that for the channel because I didn't do an unplugged book box for January because I didn't get it. And then I'm not getting the one in March either because I didn't want the book. I'm trying to be more picky with them because they're a little expensive and I don't always use the items because they're a lot of self-care stuff and my skin is very sensitive. So I can't use a lot of the stuff. So I'm kind of waiting around to do that, but I really need to go finish Legends and Lattes, so I'm going to go finish Legends and Lattes now. It is March 2nd in the morning. My dog, you can see his little head right there, won't leave me alone this morning. He is very needy, which, I mean, he always is. He's a little dog. All little dogs are pretty needy. But this morning, he has been up in my grill all morning. But anyway, I finished Legends and Lattes last night. I finally finished it. It took me a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. Because, I mean, it's only 264 pages. And then this one has a little, like, short story prologue thing at the end, which I skimmed. That should tell you that I didn't particularly enjoy this book very much. I'm giving it a soft 3, aka it's more like a 2.5, 2.75 for me. I don't get it. And I don't know if it's because my expectations were so high going into this that I thought I would be like obsessed with this. Because I mean, I love cozy stories. Like, I would consider Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Faeries a cozy fantasy as well. Uprooted by Naomi Novik, a cozy fantasy too. So when I heard this was cozy fantasy, I was like, I'm gonna like this because I love cozy mystery. I love cozy fantasy that I've read, and I love cozy like contemporary, which is like the Book Charmer. Love those. I did not enjoy most of my time reading this. Well, okay. I had a fine time, which is why it gets a 3. I just didn't particularly care. I was really bored. I was waiting for anything to happen because even in cozy stories, stuff happens. The idea in cozy stories, though, is like it is definitely a little slower paced. It's more about the characters, which this did, but there is still like stuff that happens, and the fact that there's only like really one thing that kind of happens and nothing really comes of that. Like there's no, I don't know how to describe it. There's no like retribution. I mean, there kind of is, but I felt like Viv was just like a rug, like to stand on. She was just like a wet, limp noodle. And I know she's not that. And I feel like Tangerine was like promoting that kind of like, don't do anything, just do what they tell you to do. And I'm sitting there going, rip their heads off. Like, you have the capabilities. No one's gonna be mad. About that. Like, so I don't know. I feel very strange about this book because, again, I feel like nothing happened. I really didn't care what was happening. I mean, I was sad when the thing happened. I'm not sad, but I was like, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. And the romance in this was so lackluster. It was so, everyone's talking about how great it is. I wouldn't even classify this as remotely romance whatsoever at all. Like, it was so not there the entire book. So to me, it was a surprise almost. I wasn't surprised because I knew they were going to be together. If I didn't know, because going into this, everyone describes this as a sapphic, cozy fantasy. So you know that the two characters are going to be together. And obviously, like, the artwork on the American edition, which is them two, obviously, like, part of the book is them being together. But it's not. They basically had, like, maybe a few moments at the end. And then at the end, and obviously, they kind of, like, end up together, kind of. But it was so underdeveloped and underdone that I was just so uninterested in it. And I think it needed to lean more heavily into the romance or just don't have it in there at all. Like, you didn't even need them to have a romance. They could have just been friends and that would have worked just as well because the friendships in this were the best part. The friendships in this were amazing. My favorite character was Thimble, the baker. I loved him. Him and Cal. Those two. Yeah, those two were easily my favorite characters. Viv got on my nerves because I feel like she got into this town and wanted to make a new start, but, like, erased her whole personality from before. And I don't like that. And then Tangerine, I almost feel like Tangerine was underdeveloped as well. I feel like just all the characters were super underdeveloped. I didn't love it. And I really thought I was going to. This is probably my least favorite book. Yeah, this is my least favorite book so far that I've read in this vlog, which is a huge surprise because I thought it would have been Sea of Tranquility. But I enjoyed Sea of Tranquility more, mostly because of the ending. And this ending was just very lackluster. And like I said, there's even a short story at the end of this, and I didn't want to take the time to read it. So I skimmed it, and I didn't feel like it was important. So I'm so disappointed. And my thoughts are all over the place on this because I can't 1000% pinpoint, like, exactly what I don't like about it. It's just, I just don't. Okay, again, It's fine. I keep saying I don't like it. It's fine. I don't like it compared to other people. I don't know. I needed something more to happen in this story. I felt like this author was like, cozy fantasy. Nothing can happen. That's not how that works. That is not the cozy genre, actually. Plenty of things happen. Lots of strife, it's just no one's in danger, really. Like, that's kind of how I see cozy fantasy, is no one's actually in danger, and it is slice of life, and it is more about the characters. So you got those parts right. There just needed to be more in the plot. There needed to be just something more. I needed something more, just more. That's really it. So that's kind of my update. That's it. And I love this cover. And I love this, but I mean, I'm going to keep it because I think there's going to be another one, and I think this could definitely benefit from a second book. So if there is a second one, I don't know if there's a second one in the series or if it's in this world. So I don't know. Okay, so the end, there's an interview at the end as well. It says there, what can you tell us about your next book? Safest thing I can say, it's in the same world, in Thune, features some new main characters, standalone story, but some familiar faces may pop up. So, like, I might read it. I probably won't buy a copy. I'll read it, and this could get bumped up a little bit, depending on how I feel about that one, but maybe this one's just too hyped up. Maybe that's just what it is. Maybe it was just too hyped up for me. But I didn't enjoy it the way that everybody else seems to. It was just fine. I wanted more from it. Anyway, we are on to the last book. Yeah, I'm not going to start Blood Mercy in this. We're going to move on to How to Sell a Haunted House. I don't know where that book is. I was doing cleaning. I have no idea where that book is. And I really need to start it before my Book of the Month box is supposed to get here today. And there's a lot of stuff in there I want to read, so yeah. So I really need to go find that and start it. And I gotta eat some breakfast. It was a little late, but whatever. Anyway, that's my update. And I will update you halfway through How to Sell a Haunted House. I have started it. If you don't know, How to Sell a Haunted House is a Grady Hendrix novel. And I already feel like I've already showed it. But it's about, like, it's split into sections of the 5 stages of grief, which is really, really cool. But the parents in the story die at the very beginning of the story. And the siblings have to come to the parents' house and sell it, but apparently it doesn't want to be sold. And I heard there's like a creepy dummy in this, and I don't like dummies, and I find them really creepy. So I might actually really like this because, yeah, that sounds like it might actually creep me out. So I'm going to go start that one and eat and watch. I was watching a movie. I don't remember what it's called, but it's on Hulu. It's with Annie from Community. I can never remember her name. She's married to Dave Franco. Can never remember her name, but I love her. So it's like a rom-com, so I'm gonna watch that this morning to put me in a good mood because I'm still struggling through some medical stuff. So lovely. Lovely. I'm having a great week. Great week. It's already Thursday, and I just feel like I have slogged through this week. So we're hoping next week is better. We're just gonna keep marching forward. That's all we can do. Okay, I finally finished the last book. It is March 11th. This took like such a long time. I've been having a lot of medical things, so I have not read in a while, and I did not want to read something like this serious, so I just haven't picked it up. And then I thought I would like have more to say about this, but I generally did not enjoy my experience reading this, so I just powered through it. I read pretty much the whole book yesterday and this morning before my husband woke up. So yeah, I really don't have like that much to say about this because I've avoided spoilers for most of everything. So I don't have a ton to say about it. I just thought it was kind of boring. So I guess what I do have to say is I felt like the first half of the book was more contemporary fiction than horror. Like there were some horror aspects to it, but I didn't like enjoy them. Like they weren't like prominent. It was mostly about her dealing with her brother and selling the house and the stuff in the house and some flashbacks, and there was just a lot of stuff in it that I was just like, for some reason I'm just not connecting with the characters. I'm not interested. And I feel like a lot of it had to do with literally being surrounded by obnoxious characters. So our main character, Louise, is kind of like perfect, and so when she gets the call about her parents being dead, her brother didn't tell her for days, so we're starting off great there. And then her, I don't know, ex-partner, I don't know if ex-husband or whatever, the father of her daughter is utterly useless. He's like texting her like, well, she's doing this and this is going on. It's like, you're also her father. Handle the situation. She is dealing with her parents' death, both of them at the same time. You can handle your own daughter, okay? Okay? So I feel like a lot of that just caused me such annoyance, and the brother being so annoying that it really hurt my early reading experience, even though I know it's like the point. The point is to cause her stress so she wants to go home. The point is to show the growth between her and her brother's relationship by the end of the book. I get it. It was so over the top. The brother was so over the top at the beginning. It was hard to care about anything he did. Like, even the character growth, he was too much. He was too much, and it was hard to forgive a lot of the ways that he acted. So, sweet boy. So I did end up rating this a 2 because I really did not enjoy my reading experience, and I ended up skimming some of it through the middle, some of the stupid puppet scenes. And if you don't know, the main horror plot is a puppet, and I thought I was gonna love it, but I didn't. I really, like, because I'm freaked out by dolls and stuff, so I was like, okay, I'm really gonna be scared by this, and I felt like a lot of it was really dumb, and apparently I don't enjoy that in horror. Maybe if it's done differently, but at least in this book I did not enjoy it. So wow, yeah, it was not for me. I did enjoy the end. Like I said, I'm not gonna say what happened in the end, but there's like a lot of closure and a lot of happy things happened. And yeah, I did enjoy the end, which is probably why I got a 2 and not a 1, since I skimmed. If I skim a book, I tend to give it a 1, but because of the ending and how on a good note it felt like it ended, I did enjoy that. So yeah, it's a 2. It's a 2, and I am so disappointed because the last Grady Hendrix was Final Girl Support Group, and I gave that a 5. I love that book. And so yeah, this just wasn't for me. And it unfortunately was my least favorite of the vlog, which is really sad. I hate ending off on like a depressing note. So this is my least favorite. And then Legends and Lattes, and then both of these were 5 stars. I would say Amelia Wilde's, and then the number 1 was obviously Alone with You in the Ether. So it's still a good vlog. Like, I would say I found 3 books that I enjoyed, because I did enjoy Legends and Lattes. I just didn't love it. But I am glad that I got through How to Sell a Haunted House, because it was on my, like, I bought it this year, so I have to read it. So I'm glad that I didn't put it off for so long, because knowing me, yeah, I'm the person who puts off books for a while. So I would have put it off for a while, but I read it. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole vlog. I had a fun time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from it. I don't know. I learned a lot about my reading, I feel like, from what I read today, so that's exciting. And I also confused myself because I read 2 cozy fantasies, gave one a 5, gave one a 3. I read a horror that I thought I was gonna love and really didn't. And then I read a romance contemporary fiction that I thought I would hate and loved. So confused, very confused, but I had a fun time still. And I hope you enjoy this. I might be doing this again for March. I don't know if I'll have time to do it, but yeah, whatever. Make sure you comment down below what you thought about the books, if you read them, etc., whatever. And subscribe and make sure you like the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.